My name is Nakia, and I'm with Divine Elements of Design and the Decorator's Voice. I'm a certified interior decorator, professional organizer, and planning and productivity strategist. And as the title of this video suggests, we're going to discuss Dave Ramsey and his baby steps. Now, first of all, I want to say that Dave Ramsey is a financial guru, and he is not Gordon Ramsay, who is the guru of food. So they are definitely two different people. So anywho, let's go ahead and get started. Now, Dave Ramsey he's been in business for over 30 years with his baby steps, which has helped millions of people pretty much maintain financial freedom. So first I want to discuss his baby steps with you. And then also we'll discuss some of the things that work for some and that does not work for others. So his baby steps are basically 7 things that he suggests everyone do. The first step is to save $1,000 in a beginning emergency fund. I think this is a good step, but when Dave Ramsey first came up with this save $1,000, this was in 1989, I believe. Now, $1,000 in 1989 is not the same as $1,000 in 2021. So personally, I think that baby step probably need to be for the person. Basically, you need to decide exactly how much money you should save. I definitely agree that you have to start off with somewhere, and $1,000 is good, but depending upon your circumstance, that will tell you how much you need to bring or how much you need to save. I will say this about Dave Ramsey. His steps are good. They do work for some, but for some people, they look at Dave Ramsey not as a financial guru, but as a financial god. So I want you, when you're listening to me discuss the baby steps, when you're listening to him, just take things with a grain of salt because you know what's best for your situation. Okay, and also when it comes to that beginning emergency fund, the reason why I say you need to look at what's best for you is because, say for example, you're a homeowner. You also need to consider what your deductible on your home could be. You are going on, plan on doing all the baby steps, and then something happens, your AC breaks or your roof caves in or whatever, and you need to do an insurance claim. Well, unless your deductible is $1,000, you may not be able to fix that. So just kind of cater that start emergency fund or beginning emergency fund what's best for your family. $1,000 may be great, but maybe you want to add $1,500 or $2,000. His next step, baby step 2, is to pay off all of your debt with the exception of your home. So this is probably one of the hardest steps for people because he wants you to do what he calls gazelle intensive. He wants you to basically eat red beans and rice, not purchase anything new. He wants you to sell everything you basically own, sell your children if you can. The thought is great. Now, I am a minimalist, or I'm on a minimalistic journey, so I do understand that we have so much stuff in our homes that we don't even need. And you may have something that's worth, $30 or $40 that you just have sitting there. He wants you to take that item, sell it, and use that $30 towards your debt. So, and also as far as beans and rice, he really wants you to get down to, beans and rice are very inexpensive meals, pretty much the things that you find in the middle of the grocery store. No expensive fresh fruit, no expensive meat. He wants you to get down to like rice, beans, and noodles, things like that. You are as full getting a fancy meal or that you will be if you had like beans and rice. So this step is the hardest for some, but that's what he says. And if you have a lot of debt, I do agree with this step to a point. I do want to eat healthy. I have children. They need round meals. They just can't eat beans and rice. We need fruits, vegetables, things like that, carbs, all that other good stuff. So number 2, pay all debt and live like a caveman or something. Okay, number 3, he wants you to save 3 to 6 months in your fully funded emergency fund. I think this is great. The more the merrier. If you have all your bills paid, now, definitely start saving big bucks. Now, baby step 4 is to invest 15% in your retirement fund. This is where I kind of disagree, like when we go back to baby step 2. Baby step 2, he doesn't want you to invest anything. He wants, once you have that $1,000, that's it. But if you have a job that's going to match, you know, whether it's, you know, 3% or 5%, he doesn't want you to do any type of savings other than that $1,000. He only wants you to have that $1,000 until you're out of baby step 2. Or actually out of baby step 3. He doesn't want you to invest your 15% until you're in baby step 4. That could take you 4 years. So that's a lot of years worth of money that your employer would have given you for free that you're just blown. So personally for me, I think that's a waste. That's not a good baby step. But you know, whatever works for you, works for you. Whatever works for Dave Ramsey's fans, his followers, work for them. But for me, I could just think about all of the thousands of dollars that I've lost, you know, in that step. Baby step 5, save for college for your children. That's a great step. After you've invested your 15%, then you can go ahead and start with like a 529K plan or something. Baby step 6, he wants you to pay for your house. So if you have, you know, your debt paid off, you have your 3 to 6 months emergency fund, you're contributing your 15% or more, because depending upon your, you know, your pay, you can do up to, in 2019 or 2021, you can donate, or not donate, but you can invest up to $19,500 in your 401k. So depending upon, it could be more or less than 15%. You can always do a dollar amount. So in baby step 6, he says he wants you to pay off your house. That's excellent. Home ownership is one of the best feelings in the world. And then baby step 7 is where he wants you to build wealth and give. I'm in several of his not his baby steps, but several of his Facebook groups, and I listen to other people that are, you know, doing the baby step 7, and they have one thing that's called tip the bill. So basically, it's when you go to a restaurant, if your bill is worth, you know, $60 or whatever, they want you to put a $60, or they don't want you to, but this is just something that people are doing, you know, because they want you to, you know, build wealth and then to give. So you would, whatever your bill is, if your bill is $60, you'll add a $60 tip, and you're giving to, you know, someone that may need it. Because we all know when you're in the restaurant business as a waitress, as a waitstaff, you're not making $1 million. So, you know, definitely if someone that has made all the baby steps and they can give, that's wonderful. Some people give by tithes and offerings for the church. Some people give by their time and different things, but baby step 7 is great. So overall, you know, Dave Ramsey's baby steps, you're supposed to do them in order. You're supposed to be very strict by them. I always say, you know, it is a foundation. It's like a recipe. You can definitely add to it. One of the things that I do disagree with Dave Ramsey is he does not want you to use a credit card. When you first start with your baby steps, he wants you to take your credit cards, you know, cancel them, tear them up. He does not believe in a credit score. So basically, he doesn't want you to have a credit card. His goal is for you to have a score of 0, because a credit score is how you maintain debt, which is true. If you pay off your house, your credit score is going to drop like 40 points, because a credit score is actually a tool to see how you maintain debt. So that's one of the things that he practices. He's like, no credit cards. If you get ready to buy a house, you know, pay as much cash as you can. Well, actually, what he wants you to do is to get, if you can't pay enough for like your big house, he wants you to get like a starter house. He wants you to put about 20% down, and then a 15-year mortgage. And then after that, you can move on to something else. I disagree with that. You know, get the house you want. It could be your forever home. But he's like, no credit cards. So when you go to rent a car, I guess you're going to have to use your debit card. I've been to a few credit or rental car places where, no, you cannot have a debit card. You have to have a credit card. Hotels, he wants you to pay cash for that. Once again, the hotels may want a credit card. So I really don't know how you're going to get around with not having a credit card. Even if you have one just for travel and for emergencies, I think that's great. Keep one with, you know, money on it that's a 0 balance. and have that for when you're traveling or for emergencies. But Dave is like, no, he doesn't want you to have a credit card. He doesn't want you to even have a credit score. Back before, when I was talking about how Dave Ramsey wanted you to have $1,000 in your emergency fund, and that was from 1989. Actually, I think it was in 92 when he first started with the baby steps. So I did just want to correct that, because Dave Ramsey followers, they are worse than, New Orleans Saints fans. They worship this man, and everything he says is gold. Another thing that I disagree with Dave Ramsey is the way he talks to his people, the way he talks to his followers. If you listen to him on YouTube or one of his shows, he'll call you an idiot. He'll call you dumb. He'll say you're making the worst mistake ever. Or he just says all these things to his followers, and his followers were listening to it. I listen to Dave Ramsey. I would never call him. What I do is, if I've been spending a little bit too much money or did a little too much luxe purchases, I may listen to little Dave Ramsey, because he will get me in shape. So, but I'm not like a die-hard Dave Ramsey follower. I'm not going to listen to what he says and say it's gospel. No, I'm just going to take bits and pieces of everything and, throw the rest away. Okay. Dave Ramsey followers and Dave Ramsey have this all or nothing mentality. They believe you have to do everything. You have to do the steps 1 through 7, and you have to do it that way, or his plan just is not going to work. Now, granted, it is a good plan, but nothing is all or nothing. When it comes to something like this, he made this plan up. There can be someone else to make a better plan. I'm not a financial guru. Trust me, I'm not trying to be somebody's financial coach. There are plenty of them out there. That's not me. But what I'm saying is, people have what's called free will, and they have a mind of their own. If you don't have that, if you think you have to listen to him, that's great. That's on you. But I have free will. I have a mind of my own, and I know what works for me or what has worked for me. So that's all I have to say about that. Yeah, Dave doesn't allow his people to kind of think for themselves. Another thing with Dave and his business, he has a lot of strict rules, and a lot of them, are moral rules, which is fine. If you get a job and the rules say you have to do A, B, and C, and you can't do D, and if you disobey those rules, if you break the rules, hey, you can't complain if you get fired. The rule says don't do this, and you do this, and you get fired. You have no one to complain about yourself. Even if it's a crazy rule, you took that job. Well, one of Dave Ramsey's, financial gurus was Chris Hogan, and he was involved in a little scandal. He was a great financial coach. I mean, I would listen to him. I like listening to his website or his YouTube page more sometimes than Dave Ramsey, because he had a little more compassion. He has a special needs child, so maybe that's where more of the compassion comes from. It was really great, but evidently he had an affair, an extramarital affair or something, and they fired him. Yeah, they fired him. Also, there was a girl that worked for him, and all this is public knowledge. I mean, you can just see it on the internet, just whatever. It's no secret. Dave Ramsey has rules, but he had a girl that worked, a woman, I should say, that worked for him, and she got pregnant out of wedlock, and he fired her. So there goes that whole God complex thing, But, if you took a job working for Dave Ramsey, and he says, hey, you have to wear a red shirt every day, and you show up in a blue shirt, you can't get mad if you get fired. That's kind of it, I think, of the things that I think are kind of unrealistic. Now, some of the things that I do like about Dave Ramsey, he has a really good following. He has a good support group. So those people that are in his, Facebook group and, his plans, and people that are, part of the Dave Ramsey Solution teams, they are there. They're your cheerleaders. They will help you. His idea of spending less, I think that's great. You definitely don't want to live at your means. You want to live below your means. Another thing that he preaches and practices is that you do not need a new car. A car is supposed to get you from point A to point B. You do not need to get the newest car on the lot. And, you know, I do believe in that. You know, get a certified pre-owned, get a car that's like 2 or 3 years older. Let the first car owner take the depreciation. You know, go ahead and get that certified pre-owned, and you're not paying, you know, thousands of tens of thousands of dollars more. So I definitely, you know, agree with that. I love his advice on giving. You know, I think if you are blessed to, be in baby step 7, to have paid off your house, to have all this money in the bank, you can't take it with you. You know, give to those who need. You know, I definitely do, understand that. Another thing that Dave Ramsey does is, I don't know like how much he followed those baby steps himself, but what I do know is Dave Ramsey is a good businessman. And when I say that, he is running a, multi-million dollar business, if it's not a $1 billion business. And, he has books, he has coaching, he has endorsements, he has courses, he has investment advisors, he has, financial interest in like dollar rental car company and insurance. So, if you are a business person and you want to learn a good model or how someone is having passive income, his courses, his books, they are great. Now he does have the, the Total Money Makeover book. It's on Amazon, and I will put a link to it in my description box. It is an excellent book. I'm not just downgrading Dave Ramsey. I think he's great at what he's doing and the information he has. I just want people to, utilize it and make it work for them. But his book is excellent. There's a lot of good resources in the book. And the holidays are getting ready to come up. If you want to do a gift for someone that's a recent graduate, a newlywed couple, basically anyone, his book is great. And he has several books. And last year, they discounted them to like $10 on his website. So you could have gotten like books for the whole family. I will link his website below, and then also I'll link Dave's YouTube channel in the description box below. Because, overall, he may not be for everyone. His rules are not the best for me, but, they do work. And I do want people to know that he is out there, and there's so much information that you can actually get just from listening to his YouTube, his podcast, all of those different things. So I know this is a different video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please leave them in the comment box. If you are new to this channel, please hit that thumbs up button and also subscribe. And if you want more financial videos, I definitely would love to share them with you. Leave that in the description box, in the comment box below. We can talk about the FIRE movement. We can talk about Susie Orman. We can talk about paying off your home early, how I purchased my home at 25 years old. We can talk about various things if those are some of the videos you want to watch. So once again, I would like to say thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Have a good day. Goodbye.